Chapter 1 Leaderless, Guideless, and Adrift. As the World War II generation passes, they leave behind a vacuum of wisdom, guidance, advice, and leadership. Not because they didn't try and convey these things to their baby boomer children, but because their children rejected their wisdom. Their father wasn't a wise man who risked life and limb charging the beaches of Normandy, who had to ponder and think about the meaning of life and freedom after he killed 3 Germans. He was a square man. Their mother wasn't a hard-working wife who kept a clean and safe home for her children. She was an enslaved housewife unconsciously working for the system, man. And despite empirically, mathematically, and factually being the most successful generation in the history of the world, they could not be trusted because don't trust anybody over 30, man. Instead, the baby boomers replaced this established, time-tested wisdom and common sense with their own new and modern philosophies. These new philosophies were not based in reality, but rather a self-serving idealism, and thus corrupted nearly every aspect of American life and Western culture. Love, romance, and family, for example, have been corrupted by feminism, resulting in effeminate men, masculine women, divorce, the destruction of stable families, the rise of single parents, and maladjusted children. Education has become nothing more than a racket to extract money out of youth to enrich the education industry while leaving the students with degrees that are useless and debts that cannot be repaid. The labor market is equally dysfunctional, with power-tripping employers requiring master's degrees for entry-level jobs that could be done by 8th graders. And the government is hopelessly corrupt, with the most vile of politicians bankrupting the nation, but not without first insisting younger generations slave away for everybody else's Social Security and Medicare. Nearly every aspect, facet, and corner of American civilization has declined and decayed, lessening the quality of life younger generations will enjoy. But it gets worse. Not only are older generations incapable of providing wisdom, leadership, and guidance to the younger generations, things have gotten so bad that many of them, consciously and unconsciously, actually take advantage and parasite off the youth. Again, Social Security, Medicare, and Obamacare are nothing more than wealth transfers from young people who have no money to old people who pissed away theirs. Education is now primarily an employment vehicle for older people with worthless degrees to extract as much as they can from younger students naive enough to spend 75 grand on a BA in 16th century French Guatemalan lesbian poetry. And any superficial study of the federal budget will now show a mortgaging of our country's finances so people today can spend while people of tomorrow will pay. Ergo, most elders are not only incapable of conveying wisdom, leadership, or guidance, they have no incentive to, even if they had any to dispense. I.e., they need to keep you in the dark. They need to keep you ignorant. They need to prevent you from gaining wisdom. And thus, young people are left clueless about how to live their lives, how to enjoy their lives, and how to get the most out of their lives. But there is hope, and this hope has come in the form of the internet. Though not organized and quite unintentional, the internet has allowed for the accumulation of wisdom at a rate faster than ever in the history of humankind. In allowing millions of similar-minded people to find each other, discuss similar topics, exchange information and compare notes, different spheres within the internet have formed to address the various sociological, political, economic, and romantic aspects of American and Western culture. These groups have become depositories for knowledge and wisdom that has been accruing online for the past 10 years. Knowledge that has either gone to the grave with the World War II generation, or was obscured, or even purposely hidden by previous generations for political reasons. The great thing about this newly rediscovered wisdom is not only is it based in reality, and thus more effective, it explains things that have very likely been confusing you and causing you great frustration your entire life. For example, the Manosphere. There is not one young man alive today who has not suffered immeasurably because of the lies he was told about girls and dating. The wisdom his elders gave him was to be the nice guy, or be a caring, sensitive man. Only to find out that the drug-dealing thug or the philandering athlete was getting all the girls. It wasn't until hundreds of men compiled notes and realized the advice they were being given the past 40 years was completely wrong, and set out to rediscover the truth about women. Women like tall, strong, aloof, confident assholes who ignore them and treat them like shit. You may not find that truth comfortable, but it at least alleviates the insanity millions of young men have suffered. Another example: education. The lies you were fed were that you could follow your heart and the money will follow, or that it doesn't matter what you major in, it's what you do with the degree that matters. As long as you went to college, racked up $100,000 in debt, you were doing the right thing. Of course, working for $8 an hour as a barista to pay off your student loans for your art history degree has taught you otherwise. But thankfully, future generations need not suffer like you did. An educational sphere has formed on the internet. Countless number of websites, books, blogs, etc. are out there highlighting, if not screaming about the risks of worthless degrees and the education bubble. All of which spare future students from the fate of crippling student loans and perpetual underemployment. Even the media is being revolutionized. To get into acting, theater, radio, art, or writing, conventional wisdom said you needed connections, you needed a degree, you needed to network, you needed to kiss ass. So off to theater school you went, worked for free as an intern, kissed a lot of middle-aged men's asses, only to have all the good jobs and gigs go to their children. Now, you only need skill and talent, as the internet directly connects you to your audience and prospective buyers. Want to be a radio star? Start a podcast. Want to be an actor? Start a YouTube channel. Want to be a musician? Sell your music on iTunes. Want to be an author? Self-publish on Amazon. An entire generation has rejected the wisdom of its elders, completely sidestepping the corrupt, nepotistic, cronyistic, old industry of entertainment, and simply gone to the internet to display their talents, pursue their dreams, and make their money. We could go on, but the larger point is these different groups or spheres within the internet provide the needed and necessary wisdom and opportunity that has been lacking. They are in a sense your default parents, or at least older brother-like sages you can seek wisdom from. However, while the internet and its subsegment spheres cover pretty much every aspect and corner of life, there is one area it is lacking in: personal financial advice for men. At first people might think, wait, there's a ton of financial advice on the internet, which is most certainly true. But there are some problems inherent with this particular sphere of the internet that prevents it from conveying its full potential of wisdom, especially to young men. First, since financial advice has to apply to everybody, most financial advice on the internet is too generalized and bland to be of any use. To do any good, it needs to be tailored to the individual in that each individual is different, with different goals, different finances, and different circumstances. Of course, no book can specifically address each of the 300 million individuals in the country, but a book focusing on a general group, say, men, is specific enough to prove very useful to those in that group. Second, the information is too scattered. Between financial and economic enthusiasts writing blogs, to professionals trying to sell their company's products, to financial journalists trying to be everything to everyone, there is no centralized depository of Personal Financial Bible for Young Men that takes all the wisdom on personal financial management, organizes it, arranges it, and presents it on a logical, clear, and helpful manner. Third, most of the wisdom on the internet is conventional, and therefore most certainly flawed. MBA-laden experts consult their algorithms, look at historical economic trends, and merely regurgitate what has been regurgitated for decades past, giving no consideration to the fact that the underlying dynamics and fundamentals of financial planning is changing. For example, how many times did you hear, housing only goes up, or any degree is a good degree? Such advice was only conveyed because, for the most part, those rules held true in the past. Right up until the housing and education bubbles crashed, of course. This is the major flaw in conventional financial planning. They not only fail to think outside of the box, but they never ran or considered alternative economic scenarios, and therefore do not have any contingency plans beyond, well, contribute to your 401k some more, leaving practically everybody exposed to a financial black swan event. Finally, men are the last group of people society concerns itself with in terms of economics, politics, sociology, health, romance, or any other regard. There are limitless number of articles written about women, limitless number of magazines at the checkout line for women, and limitless number of shows tailored for women. Society bends over backwards to tailor, serve, and kiss the asses of women. Very little consideration, and therefore advice, is tailored and built for men. To this end, Bachelor Pad Economics, though applicable to everybody, is written with the average American male in mind. Most likely single, most likely young, but every man, married or not, young or not, will benefit greatly from this book. It is the single most comprehensive source of wisdom for young men regarding personal financial management, investing, and life from a financial perspective. It is a roadmap to financial planning that has been sorely missed the past 3 generations. Reading this book will surpass any number of college classes in terms of the wisdom and help it will grant you, and the younger you read it, the better off you'll be. This book, quite simply, is a must for every young man out there so that you not only avoid the mistakes your elders made, but live better and more enjoyable lives than we did.